good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earth?
Same genius time.
Any demographic I identify with.
I don't believe you murder.
I think an ignorant voter and a non-voter
crazy what he did. He took the military out
are
before
one and
he
the
took
same.
the civilians.
Same
Who does
genius
that?
channel.
Under his watch.
What
Know
has
something,
he done
bro.
about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton Ennis. I am joined today by a man whose nickname should be He Got Game, Craig Lindo. On today's show, we will close out Women's History Month by honoring the women we appreciate. We hope to give you something to ponder. Brother Lindo, what is up with you, my friend?
My guy, CI, what's popping?
Happy Monday, man. Happy Monday.
It is. I wanna big up Monday, even though Monday gets a lot of shots. Shout out Monday. You end in Y, you count too. Monday matters.
Mondays need some love, you know what I mean? So anything on your mind before we get into the show?
Just as far as in keeping with the show, and our thoughts and what we're looking at in terms of women history, for me, what would be on my mind that aligns with that would be my mother's birthday recently, and just looking at her story, how to understand it, how to tell it, just her story, what she did at 19 when she came here with a kid, like, kind of a big deal. Shout out to her.
Shout out Mama Lindo. We love you. On my mind, talk about sticking with the show, not necessarily women's history, although a lot of women are being impacted, but we got another school shooting, 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, Nashville, Tennessee, I believe. This instance shooter was a woman who is deceased. Not sure the whole story. Don't know if it was a firefight. Don't know if she took her own life, but suspect was 28 years old, 3 kids, 3 staff killed. So heart goes out to you all. Prayers go out to all those impacted. Sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine. All right, so headliners.
Man.
Oh, you got something? You want to talk about it?
I don't believe I have anything new to add to the conversation. It's just, for me, it caps off a weekend of seeing videos like it for me, because I, working in a K-12 environment currently, I was already running into like videos, and for some reason my algorithm kept sending me the videos and reports of students attacking teachers in the classroom. I'm like, yo, listen,
Yeah,
I made it this far. I pray it never gets like this, but and so after a weekend of that, to run for this actuality to kind of be the volcanic eruption at the end of that of the last 3-4 days. That's why you see me shaking my head the way I am.
It's interesting to have you and Mo on the show, and even Joe Nitty. I never thought about it from you all's perspective when it comes to the school violence, because I think about it as a parent. I think about Uncle Mo, Joe got kids, but you all are the teachers that are in the spaces with the children, whether they be elementary age, which I think was the case here, or high school, whatever it is, y'all are teachers. So the debates and the discussions about should we arm the teachers protect their own lives, protect the kids' lives, just you all are in, I'm in it as a parent, you're in it as a teacher. And it keeps happening. It keeps happening.
Hey, there are procedures in case of various emergencies that we have to practice, um, in hopes that if it ever happens, we execute it correctly, right? You know how best made plans work, but
All right, we'll leave it at that. Rest in peace to those that are lost, especially the young lives. This feels odd to say rest in peace to a child, but rest in heaven wherever you are, not wherever you go. Rest in heaven. Sorry that it happened this way. So headliners, Women's History Month. A lot of different places we can go in our reactions, perspectives on women's history. But you spoke of yours, and if there's more to share, I thought let's start with the women that raised us.
here for it.
So what else you want to offer the world about your mama? Because I know her, you love her, she's delivered you, brought you, raised you, in particular during some trying circumstances. We all have that a story. But what else would you like to share about your mom?
I mean, I would just like to, I'd emphasize a survivor and a survivor's story. I would emphasize somebody that always tried to figure out a way to do a lot with a little. Um, I would always, I would, I wouldn't have done what she did at 19 and 25. Man, I might not do at my current age, and I'm almost double that. So I have a story of sacrifice. I have a story of adventurousness because she has an adventurous spirit. This is a woman that loves to dance, love her music, and loves people, and loves being in an environment where um people can celebrate life and celebrate life together. That's a preferred setting. And yeah, I don't as far as the whole against the Women's History Month theme, I mean, just as far as great women, my understanding of unconditional love from a woman, it might be skewed greatly because of her or defined accurately because of her, depending on your opinion. I'm grateful to have witnessed the piece of her story that I was able to witness for the years that I was able to comprehend it. So I just kind of think that what she did at a young age to get us set up, and it really benefited her to stay put more than coming here. It really benefited me the most. Like the way things were set up, as far might have benefited her more to stay in Jamaica anyway.
All right, right. When I think about my mom, it's it's a few things. It's a lot of things in terms of the scope of life, where she's, even the mom that she was to other people. But one thought that always comes to mind is I was high school and I had a coach who was, being super coach. And he made the statement that, a woman can't raise a boy to be a man. And in that instance, he was talking about me because him and my mom, as she tended to do with things she doesn't agree with, had a little rub up verbal.
Mm.
And he didn't win the argument. So he directed it indirectly at me during practice. And I knew what was going
So,
on, and I took offense to it. But then as I've gotten older, I realized that he was right. A woman can't raise a boy to be a man by herself, nor can a man raise a boy to be a man by himself. Nobody can do it by themselves. They can try and they can get some of the way, but nobody by themselves can get the child all the way, my belief. And so to understand that the way I do, and to love the person that I am, and know that, even though my dad was around, they divorced when I was young, he was a active presence in my life. Willie Mae raised me. And the way she did it, the way she galvanized the resources, whether it was your mom or the homie's mom or my aunts or my grandmother when she was around, or football coach or my barber, or the mentors that I got from church. She made sure that I knew love and knew discipline, knew God, and whether she was the one that made it be or not, she wasn't hung up on that. She just wanted her boy to be the best man that he could possibly be. And she did that. She might say she's still doing it, but that's a different story.
I love Willie Mae. I wouldn't argue with Willie Mae if she said that. And I could co-sign and agree with everything you said about it. Like, and being, somebody that was particularly thorough about her resources and her communication. I remember those things. I always remembered the way that she communicated or spoke. It lingers with me still. Definitely mom energy, mom voice, big mom energy all the way. Shout out Miss Willie Mae.
And the other thing is, she was raised in Liberty City, right? She woman from the hood. She ride or die. And I one of my favorite memories, you remember Chris Webber, when he had his sneaker line. I think it was, I don't remember if it was even with Nike or Reebok. I have to look it up, but it was when, he was at University of Michigan. He went to Golden State. For me, I was a big Chris Webber fan back then. And, he came out with his sneaker line, they were popular sneakers. And had a homie who worked for Foot Locker. And, he's like, hey, I can get them for you. We got to do this. We got to do that. Meet me here and they're yours. My mom took me to go get them. It was late. Yeah. It was a dark Miami night. We met him around the corner from another corner, exchanged cash, and I wasn't even driving at this age. So exchanged cash and we took off. So the same person who was disciplined, the same person that didn't, who pretty much lived inside the lines, she knew how to step on the other side and get right back. So I cherish that, because that also told me, as my mom, whatever I needed, she would figure it out, and inspired me as a father, not even just as a father, as a human. If there's a pathway to providing and I can do it, let me try to find it.
I remember one time, I can't remember the exact year. I'm almost sure I was in high school, but here are the markers to kind of give you the time. 163rd Street Mall was still popping. And there was a store in there that sold clothes. I want to say the spelling of the name was CODA, Coda.
Maybe.
I went in there on some back to school vibes with the old girl. You let me tell it. The girl that was working there might as well have been Rachel from Caribbean Rhythms. She was, you know, big deal to your boy at the time, at the age. Know what I'm talking about? And so I guess my mom must have picked up on that kind of energy, and me being on that, you know, Google eyes, quagmire, giggity, giggity, whatever kind of vibe. And my mother looked at me and said, yo, if you don't get our number, you're walking home. Translation, you don't get them digits, you walking. And just walked out. What? Just left me in there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I panicked for a second. I did eventually, you know, acquire the sequence of numerals required to communicate with the aforementioned young lady, but yeah, my mom did that. My mom was like, yo, you know, it was also some other spice she's doing there, like, you know, it's like some arrogant junk, like, if you don't do this, you're not my son, or some junk like that. I was like, what? Yeah, she did that. She did
you know,
that.
I have memories.
How many buses it takes to get back to where I was?
Yeah, from 163rd Street. Yeah, it took like, well, you had the 2, and I don't know if it was the 83, 17, something, but it wasn't an easy trek. And I do remember your mom encouraging boys to be boys. I say that. I'll leave it at that. So, you know, we love our moms. We're here because of our moms. Women's History Month, we not, you know, the celebrities, the stars, we'll talk about them in the later segments, but, you know, the women in our life, is there anybody else that you would want to celebrate or acknowledge?
No, man, I like, for me to just say anybody else in a singular would violate a whole lot. I am definitely a product of the village, and definitely somebody that's been loved on by the women of the village all the way through, period. A lot of times I ain't deserve it, so I wouldn't, you know, start naming one. I'm already alienating so many others. I wouldn't know where to begin. You mind going first on that one, bro?
Well, yeah, I so few perspectives, right? I just want to acknowledge the women in my family. You know, matriarch, patriarch, and all of what that means. And, you know, we talked on another episode about toxic masculinity. And me, I was raised by a matriarchal lineage. A couple Father's Days ago, maybe 2019, maybe, was in Miami, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles celebrating Father's Day. I had my son, and my aunt made the statement, you know, they didn't celebrate Father's Day as children. My mom, my aunts, my uncle, there was no fathers present. And so I myself have never met any of my grandfathers. My father's father stayed in Guyana, passed away when I was young. My mom's father, for my awareness, just was never around once I was born. So I couldn't, you know, my dad's father looked like my dad. I could maybe recognize him, but my mom's father, I wouldn't even know where to begin. But my great grandmother, my grandmother, my great aunt, my aunts, my cousins, you know, these women are strength. These women are strong, and the depth of the love that they've given me, I've not had to want for it, look for it, worry about it, never had to wonder. And so, in the the patriarchal society in which we are dominated by in a lot of areas, let it be known that that's not the only pathway to prosperity. It does require balance. There are men, my cousins, my uncles, that our values add value to mind, body, and spirit. But where it started from is a woman. So I wanted to acknowledge that. And then I have one more group of mentors. I call them my fairy godmothers. These women have been CEOs of hospitals, they leaders amongst leaders, presidents of associations, chairmen of boards. And it's three of them. If you Google Colleen Daniel, Patricia Webb, and Deborah Lee Eddy. Again, love in our professional space that they've shown me. And when I was hungry, they fed me. When I needed a buck, they gave it to me. When I needed a shoulder to crown because they wasn't treating me fair at work, I didn't know what to do. They were there in different ways. One of them cussed me out in front of a bunch of people. The other had some very pointed words for me at the point of getting divorced. And the other, in all the spaces, she would just give me that look like, you know what you know, and it's gonna be all right. And so they watched the show, so I wanted to make sure that they knew how much I value them, how much I think I view them as history makers. And this whole debate that the media tends to have about whether women can lead, we get back and forth about our readiness for a woman to be president. Child, please. I've seen it. I know it. If you got it, you got it. And what they have, they've given to me. So to my fairy godmothers, and there's others, there's names I didn't say, but those three specifically have poured into me immeasurably. And so, I wanted to bring it here because I think whether it's Black history, women's history, a month isn't ever going to be enough to tell the entire story, but history is being made in real time. And we have people in our lives that, whether their name ever gets up on a billboard, are true history makers.
Amen. Whether it was the woman that delivered me is, that was, when I say the lead nurse in the delivering room that delivered me, was later on located in the United States when we were living in South Florida, and met her phenomenal self, and got to know her at that point. So I'll call her Auntie Guidey. There are these people that have contributed in ways that, the son of a 19-year-old that you kind of came in hindsight, you kind of understood that, yeah, this is the son of a 19-year-old. She's 19. This is where the supplementary love is going to be needed at times. And sometimes they were sparring partners. Sometimes they were people that had a mature energy that filled in appropriately. It kind of all worked out. I'm thankful for all of them, from your mom to Auntie Guidey to even professionally. I remember I would have to say Devarn Flowers and Vita Jackson Carter, two phenomenal women that I've learned a tremendous amount from in the brief time that I was around them, and the way they poured their passion for education into children, and the way they gave me game on how to navigate the space. I appreciate it. Matter of fact, I could probably use a conversation with one or both of them right now, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you to the women that we named, the women that we didn't name. We needed you, we need you, and we truly appreciate you. And on that, we'll take a break and be right back. This is Unsolicited Genius.
Listening to
What in the sports? So in honor of Women's History Month, I thought we just talk about the women in the categories we typically talk about: sports, entertainment, etc. that inspires. So in the space of sports, any female athletes that inspired you over your many moons?
I would love to drop off some long lists and sound super progressive. And as we enter the political season, win the heart of all the political nerd females out there. But I don't know. As far as my timeline goes, I remember one of the first names, and I can't remember if I started hearing it when I was still in Jamaica or when I got here, but I remember Flojo.
Yeah.
That's one of the first names I remember where it was just, every time I heard the name, it was being spoken with like, yo, it was spoken with respect on it. Whether you want to spell that R-E or R-A, it was respect on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I distinctly, if I'm going chronologically, I'd have to go there. In terms of my own sport that I love so much, I remember Lisa Leslie being so dominant in women's basketball in terms of being a prominent name and setting a, like, oh my God, look, this is happening, the pro game growing for women. And, you know, I mean, not to get mad cocky, but let's just fill in the rest of the blanks with the all of the Jamaica women's national team members that have medaled in the last X years. I've enjoyed that show, and you know, my Jamaican girl them and on the track doing their thing. That's really been. So I mean, I guess I started with Flojo and Lisa Leslie and that kind of thing, but I have a particular appreciation. Even this past weekend, man, first of all, shout out what's going on in the men's tournament. I need an all Florida final as far as the men's tournament, but I've enjoyed watching the girls tournament so much more. You know, the young lady Harris over there at LSU, good job, shorty. Like just bucket getter hooping, and then the other, oh my God, I want to mess up her name at Iowa. It slips me right now, but she just had a 40-point triple-double or something crazy like that. So I enjoy women's sports. I've always been somebody.
Caitlin Clark.
I've always been some, huh?
Caitlin Clark.
Yes. Man, she put on a show with it, bro. She put a show on with it, bro. Like, Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
your basketball players and your rappers, you gotta have a certain level of arrogance to be like even likable. Oh my God, what just happened? Okay, yeah, like, or maybe that's just me. I like my rappers and my ball players with a certain kind of swaggy on them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so like the way she did it, I mean, there's a way to be, kind of bombastic and with your swag without even saying a word. Like there's a way to do it. So I like that show. Like I said, the young lady over there, Ellis, she was balling. Like she was dropping dimes, dishing, giving them footwork, fadeaways. I appreciated all that. So it was I openly told people, if you're looking for the best X's and O's basketball, it might be women's college basketball to get that. You know what I'm saying? Where you're not out athleting the fundamentals of the game to the point that the referees just ignore the fundamentals of the game.
All right. I dig it. Yeah, FloJo. I think of Carl Lewis was probably my first track star in my awareness. But I definitely say number 2 would have to be FloJo. And as I thought about this, Lisa Leslie came to mind, but maybe not appealing to what you call them, the political nerds. I don't know if that's the right term, but I didn't, I've not gotten into a lot of women's basketball. And so as I thought, who sports women inspiration, it's the Williams sisters. To see Venus when it was just Venus, right? And the way she dominated the game and the grace, let me say it differently. She dominated, but she was so graceful with it. She was so kind with it. She wasn't loud. She wasn't boisterous. She wasn't everywhere. She just played her game. And then when, little sister came on, I was like, how little sister gonna be going up against big sister? And I remember a few of them, big sister got her. But man, when Serena found her rhythm, when she figured out that pro game, the world didn't stand a chance, yet alone her sister. And to know her journey, to potentially have celebrated her last major event, if not forever, she done with the game. I feel that being alive to see both of them do what they did is an honor. I didn't get to see Muhammad Ali in his greatness. I feel like, there was a fight with my dad, maybe, that I was aware of. It could have even been a replay, but I can't say that I saw Ali fight, but I would have been so honored to watch him do his craft. And so to have seen Venus and Serena got a lot more, wins, but the collective, not just inspirational, it's been an honor. And so I think about the two of them.
That's a pair of Hall of Fame tennis legends right there in the same family tree. Depending how you split your trees up, that's the same branch, bro. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's fruit from the same branch. It's crazy.
Yeah. In the movie, I think there's the line where in King Richard, where our boy Will Smith won the Oscar in the slap. But there's a line where they said, about the next he had the next Michael Jordan, and he said, I got the next 2. And he was right.
I dare you to argue.
If you don't say he was right, you can't say he was wrong. And to point out the Jamaican track is interesting, right? Because I'm Team USA. It is what it be. And so the Jamaican track team, men and women, but women today, man, they bad, man. They bad, man. They are bad.
You got to deal with them.
Yeah.
You got to
And
deal with
they
them.
bad and they know it. That's the thing. Bad and they
I
know
feel
it.
deal with we. Yeah.
You
So
know,
it go.
sometimes win or lose, they know they bad. They know they got it. They know this their game. You know, the Americans, sometimes you can see some of the fear. You can see some of the apprehension, even if they go out and do well. But with that Jamaican team, it's, if you needed an image for confidence, the Jamaican women's track team, whether it's the hair, the nails, whatever, the game face, they got it. They got it.
I'm here. I'm here for it, bro. I actually feel guilty about how much I don't follow women's sports more, but yeah, I mean, I've even, dude, there's a tackle football league that tried to pop up a few years back. Women, when I went and watched it, I was actually very impressed with the football I saw. Like I'm here for it. It's a shame it doesn't get the sport of sports to get. It is supposed to get, but I'm here for it.
Right, right. Yeah, there's this highlight of I guess it was flag football, but a woman's flag football, and she got the ball, she throw moves, she do some spin moves. I'm like, yo, it's the game, and if you got it, you got it. If you got it, you got it. All right. So, are you entertained? So, in the space of what you're listening to over the episodes, we talked about a lot of things, a lot of artists, a lot of albums, a lot of hip hop, R&B, etc. So when you think about music and listening, and whether it's rap or song or poetry even, what woman inspires you, or women? They don't have to just be one.
Thank you, because if that question was singular, you'd never get a straight answer out of me.
Fair enough.
You would never get a straight, like, pick one.
Fair enough.
Whenever I've been able to just pick one. That's nuts.
That's that's between you and
That's
your mom.
nuts.
I don't got nothing
That's
to do
crazy.
with
Like
that.
does that make sense to you? No,
like
no.
Tupac
Jokes
said,
aside.
don't blame me, blame my mama.
Right? I mean, what do I run through the list of entertainment
Yeah, go ahead. If it's a
crushes
list,
I've had, or
yeah,
I respect you so much because you're phenomenal off of the stage. Like let's be for real.
Your call, you call it. I got mine, you got yours. You play it how you want to play it.
But as far as just the women's history theme and legends in music, let's stick with one of the greatest voices of all time. Shout out Whitney Houston.
Amen.
Now that's one of the first female vocalists I could say, hey, I memorized multiple songs from this person, and I didn't even write them down to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's probably a product of Miss Sharon Lindsay. Shout out my mama. But yeah, that vibe. I have a thing for the songstresses, especially the songstresses with strong voices, from the Whitneys, and the beautiful vocal ranges, to the Monicas and Brandys, the Tamia "You Put On Move on My Heart" video. I still might have to sit down if it comes on and not move until it ends. I already confessed my little love for Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu and the Elementals of the world.
That's on record. That's on record.
Yeah, those. Yeah, put it back on the record. I want to double down on that. All 10 toes. The Jill Scotts of the world, the people that could write and get you into a vibe. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to pick just one, but I love a strong vocalist, and I'm a sucker for a good ballad. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sucker for a good ballad. I tend to move in a space now where I'm rarely in a position to hear them. But deep down, I am not sure how dense or how thick the shell is, but somewhere beneath the shell, I am still a sucker for a tug on your strings. I will always love you forever and always. I would rather go blind than see you walk away from me love song.
Yeah, you can be a sucker for love. It's all right. I am too. I am too. So, you know, everybody you said, right? Tamia, Monica, Brandy was my high school crush. For sure, for sure. She could do no wrong. But you know, I went through my mental Rolodex and not necessarily value add to music like Whitney's voice, although, you know, she is on my list for sure. But MC Light, she for me was the first to have the rap energy. You know, Queen, I don't know who came first, MC Light, Queen Latifah. To me, they were both Yo MTV Raps, you know, so I digested them around the same time. But MC Light, her voice, her swag, her lyrics just always got me, you know, and to the way to see her mature, you know, she's older than us, but you know, she was younger when we watched her, and the woman that she is and can still get on the mic. And when I hear that voice, I can't even emulate it, right? I can't even pretend, but it's just something about her voice on a mic that oh man, I love it.
I used to be in love, but not with a dealer. I used to be in love. I know how it feels. Why, oh, why did I need cappuccino? Like this Light was the illest, man. I'm mad I didn't
Georgie
say it.
Porgy?
Oh,
Was
yes,
that the name
right.
of it? Georgie Porgy? That was
Georgie,
still
oh.
that you know, on the right, you know, any given Sunday, that one might bring a little tear out the corner of my eye. But
she could get into that braggadocio talk, that bag that I love about MCs. I think I kind of referred to that before. Like, I like for my MCs to be able to talk that about themselves,
right.
like that supreme arrogance vibe, but then flip it and tell a complicated story with nuance and feel.
That you can visualize.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Light. She'll battle you, and it won't, you know, I don't need to bring up the name of the people that she dissed, and it's like on her records. But you know, in an era where later those same diss records were so much of a bigger deal when the guys made it, she had some serious diss records just sitting on her album, including people's names. It was brutal.
Yeah, I didn't quite make it, but she definitely had me wishing I could be a roughneck. That I was whatever she need me to be. I do my best to be. What? I would try. It didn't work out. I am who I am, and that's all I'm gonna be. But boy, to talk about something if I could have, you know, and Converse, I'm interested to your perspective. Sticking with hip hop, for me, it's Lil' Kim. And, you know, some interesting things in her journey have come out recently in terms of her, you know, physical changes, kind of attached to being in an abusive relationship, struggles with self-esteem all the way back to being a child in a relationship with her father. But when she came out, bruh, when she came out, not even talking about the album cover, because there would never be no woman, if that's the seductive route, you know, all of them don't have to want to be seductive. But in the era of which we exist, I saw some commercial today, some ad for a musician, seductive. They all can try. Nobody will capture what Lil' Kim captured in that album cover. Nicki Minaj tried. Take that back. Separate from that, her to say she struggled with self-esteem is not what I would have ascertained when she got on that mic. And to hear the speaking voice, a little high pitched, a little soft and shy sometimes, you know, in interviews. But man, when she got on that mic, when she got on that stage, nothing but rap came out of her body. And the power that she presented to us, you know, you and I entering college, and the mix of music and energies that existed in that stage of our life. Lil' Kim was part of that, man. She was a significant part of my music library.
Nah, just because of just the culture at the time and the way things were moving, she was actually providing anthems that responded to some of the things that the fellas were putting out there at the time. So it was needed for the ladies to have that kind of voice in terms of certain messages being put out musically. You can make the debate that, or the argument that there were other messages that probably didn't need to be out there. They couldn't be healthy. That's always going to be there when you get with different kinds of art forms of expression. But to talk about the confidence in performance and being another way off the mic, I've always been amazed by how some of the most amazing artists are actually timid speakers. For lack of a better phrase, but something that'll appeal to, I guess, many of our followers, viewers, lovers, fans, whatever, is the Sasha Fierce idea. You know what I mean? Like, the idea that Beyonce becomes Sasha Fierce, that's a stage or a stage persona. I'm sure the Beehive will correct me later.
Yes,
but,
they will.
But the you know, I know of that, where some of the most timid people, when it's time to perform, they black out and they go into whoever their other, you know what I mean, and they channel that so excellently. No, that struck a nerve with me right there. That's fantastic.
And you know, to talk Beyonce and Sasha Fierce and whomever has come since Lil' Kim, I'm of the mindset belief that they do that because of what Kim did. You know, Foxy came out around the same time, but what they gave to the audience lyrically and visually inspired, I believe, this current generation of artists, if not solely, significantly.
But you know, yeah, they definitely contributed to what's going on here, and there's still people that are taking from that blueprint because, you know, whether it's there or whether you look back, comedy with Andrew Dice Clay, raunch, sex, that playing the edge of the boundary is going to sell. And if you could do that in a way that's, you know, if you could do it right, go ahead and cash in. I do not personally put Kim in the MC Light category. I have Light as a far superior MC to Kim.
That's fair.
But that's
no argument for me. No argument for me. I'm like, more energy.
Yeah. I just want to be clear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Of just, if you know, if I'm choosing somebody, if I'm hiring somebody, yo, I want a female to write my bars, I'm going to Light first.
That's fair. I give you that. Kim got a couple. She got, you know, I'd have to, you know, do some digging to pull them out.
In 2023,
or a song.
In 2023, as much as I love Light, the first female I might go to right now would be Rhapsody.
You like all time or just today?
If I needed 16 written and you told me I had to find a female MC to do it, get this money, do a female, and let her write 16 for me, I'm gonna find Rhapsody.
I'll probably co-sign that. Like
my all-time favorite is still Light.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With a shout out to a lot of
I
people,
co-sign.
but like
No, because
it's
Rhapsody hot. You know, I can't speak to fame, popularity, why it is, what it ain't.
Okay.
But in terms of getting on the mic, getting on the beat, and spitting some stuff, and how you like, oh, now Rhapsody is about that life. She's about. You would choose Rhapsody over Lauryn Hill?
To write a song today. Today. Yeah.
And you've heard Lauryn Hill on
If I'm rapping.
recent raps. You've heard like the verse she had on the movie with that Jay-Z produced the soundtrack.
The Huey P joint? No, what was that? I can't recall right now, but from what I remember right now, if I need a hip hop 16, somebody give me some bars right now, I'm going Rhapsody first. And that's knowing that my main girls, Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill, could rap their ass off. Is just one of the things where right now, if I'm just going for somebody that I think is more likely to be writing new verses on a regular basis, whose pen is well exercised, I'm going to go that's what I'm reaching for. Because I don't think
the harder they fall. But I hear you.
I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, she got a I can't remember who else was on the song with her. But she got a verse, man.
I just kind of feel Rhapsody's more active right now. So I would if I need it, on this date in time and space, yeah. But if you ask me who's my favorites all time, well, you already know my girls are. Yeah, I'm not picking between Badu and Lauryn. Like that's just what it is.
Badu can rap too. I've heard her rap.
That's what I'm talking about.
I've heard her rap. Okay. Other person, just wild card, that we hadn't named. Not that this is exclusively black.
What's up?
It's just women. I'm a Madonna fan, man. I'm a Madonna fan.
Woo! Okay.
The catalog. There's probably maybe 10 years ago, maybe I started to not vibe with what she put out. When she smacked Britney Spears on the booty at the Super Bowl show, I was still team Madonna, but since then it's kind of gone down. But I can't, I occasionally go to the skating ring, whether it's a kids party, adult night. If I'm skating and I don't hear a Madonna song, then it was not a complete evening. And there's some of her songs, man. They just, whether it's the nostalgia, time in my life, whatever I was experiencing as, this tune fell into the background of my experience, or when we had, what was it, the jukebox? You remember jukebox?
Yeah,
and
jukebox.
She had that video, Justify My Love. I did not understand what I was watching. It felt age inappropriate, but I couldn't look away from that screen. And jukebox plays stuff over and over and over, same bit over and over and over again. So, but yeah, she, and to, learn a little bit about the dynamic that existed with her and Tupac, and go to his museum, see the little love letter that he wrote to her, or love letter, but I can't mess with you, love, whatever you call it, a heartfelt letter. I say that. I was like, Tupac feel me too.
Yeah.
But
Madonna.
Yeah, that's my I'm a fan. There's a lot in her catalog. If I don't know all the words, there's still an energy and a vibe that it does for me. I got one of her.
I can't deny Madonna's influence on my life soundtrack. That would be just irresponsible and disrespectful. Phenomenal artist. Pushed the boundaries of creativity and sexuality. And I'm always here for those artists, especially. Like, that's dope.
And Joe Nitty wants to make sure we mention Janet. Now,
anytime.
Janet.
Any place.
Man, she, Janet Jackson was Penny. She was the actress. So, she was a crush too, probably at some stage. And then she got older and the music got deeper and she still was doing poetic justice, a la Tupac. But, just Janet kind of, for a long time, encompassed everything, whether it was beauty, swag, musicianship, voice, celebrity. Janet was everything.
Nah, man. No.
For me.
I'm gonna give you the everything, and I might get some DMs text off of this one because there's some folks that might remember having these conversations as we were trying to figure out the Mars versus Venus dynamic in our lives and trying to understand the women around us. Claire Huxtable, aka Miss Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
Talk about prototype.
Yeah.
Like no, that character was that what?
Listen.
Claire Huxtable was the standard. Oh.
Listen.
Oh.
But I'm glad you brought that up because that actually transitions us into what are you watching? And Claire Huxtable, she set the bar. When you talk about Venus and Mars and trying to figure it out, when I was older and thought I knew what I was talking about. If you ask me what I'm looking for my Claire Huxtable.
You look exactly.
Period, point blank.
Exactly. Hey, I know cats that's still holding on. They still got they still dropping $20 every couple months in a savings account, waiting to dump that ring on a Claire Huxtable. You know what I'm saying? In one case, buddy got a jip about to go off to college. He's still waiting on his Claire Huxtable. Like, nah, she wasn't a Claire Huxtable. She just got lucky. I'm still waiting on Claire Huxtable. But yeah, man, she represented what? Hey.
I mean, you put it.
Still feel entitled to one.
You said represented. I think she still represents because she was a professional.
Oh no, that's for y'all. Not for those that gave up. No, we don't. No, it's past tense.
Okay.
No, those of us that gave up, it's represented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gave up.
Wait, time out. There's not a break in the show, but I'm timing out. in before we talk about anything else. So what I'm hearing from you is you have given up your quest for your Claire Huxtable? Is that what?
Yeah, dog. Yeah, dog. I gotta let that go. That's right up there with the Craig will be in the NBA dream.
I can't co-sign that.
It seems like it's the right place, bro.
I can't. We're not gonna get into all of it, whether we talk about it on the show or take it offline. I can't co-sign you giving up the quest, dog. You may not get it right. I have to change. I'm not saying I always got it right, but
I feel like I gotta change archetypes. The multilingual I'm changing archetypes is what I'm saying. Whatever I'm shooting for, I'm letting that go right now.
All right. Well,
I would love for her to like flip on me and speak to me in another language, like she flipped on Cliff and spoke to him in Spanish. Yeah, like even when I was young and I didn't understand that shit, that was sex.
She used to give, that was the thing.
She knew how to talk to the bro.
Was the head of the household theoretically, but she was his partner. And when he wasn't being a good partner, she let him know. And she checked the kids, she checked Heathcliff, she checked whoever needed to be checked, but she always came, she was always from a place of love, man.
Grace being the word, my boy. Right. Grace being the word.
You're right. All right, so who else on the screen inspires you or inspired you?
You said screen?
Screen, movies, entertainment, television.
Man, we touched a good bunch of them right now, man. Like right now my mind is like thinking about the old Janet songs that I haven't listened to in a long time. but I am for the strong female heroine. I love. Let me make sure I got it. So I'm pretty sure Avatar. That's Zoe Saldana. If I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
You know, give
Yeah.
give me one that could kick some butt, right? I'm on that. I'm on that energy. It doesn't always have to be the crying lover that I think I deserve. Sometimes it's that. A lot of times the characters I gravitate towards the most are um female characters that kick rump, man.
I mean, you know, history books will tell us that some of the greatest warriors were women because of the distinction, right? Muscle is thick, muscle can be slow, muscle is strong, but if you can't hit your target, then you've lost the battle, right? And so I think as they show more of the warrior women, be it warrior king, the woman king, or Black Panther, or anything everywhere. Michelle Wong, you know, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like, I was happy for her to get her Oscar acknowledgement, because that in the movie she captured her total essence, the actress and the warrior that she is. So I feel you on that. You know, for me, when I think about Scream, you know, Angela Bassett always comes to mind, because in her movies, she was on a TV show, I find that there's no flaw, right? Her character, her appearance, her role is strong, is powerful. Sometimes it's sexy, whether or not that's what she's going for, is just there. But Angela Bassett, I can't think of a movie where she doesn't command the screen.
I agree with that. I have a, you know, even recently how the argument was made about what, or the conversations that were had about what took place at the Oscars, and acknowledgement. And I'm not a fan of giving MVP awards as makeup for something you missed years ago in your career and all that. So the argument that was being made that she should have got it, you know, even as some form of a lifetime achievement. Like, I'm never for the lifetime achievement on that kind of award, unless it is actually a lifetime achievement award. So I don't know if I jump in on the snub thing, because from all reports and, you know, everything else, the actor that got it for the movie that got it was phenomenal and better than the Wakanda 2, which personally I didn't have any love for anyway. But Angela Bassett going, I for some reason I know her name. I could probably think of movies from before this, but I can't. I kind of remember her name getting solidified in me, around me, in my mind. Oh my God, it's the one where she went. What was that?
What'd you think? Not Tina Turner. What you think?
Not Tina. She set the car on fire, bro.
Oh, Waiting to Exhale.
Yes. I love the Tina Turner. I love both those movies, and that. But as far, but I kind of remember that one being it. Like, oh my God, this is, and that burned it into my mind then, and ever since then. So, but I am a fan of Angela Bassett. Love her work, love her energy, love the way she's you know, she moves through the space. I'm a longtime fan, and she has that thing that certain people have. No matter how you try to make them unattractive or unsexy, it probably won't work. Even if you're trying to make them unsexy or unattractive in the role that they're playing, that's just not how that works. That kind of reminds me of Halle Berry and Babs, right? As much as they tried to make her unattractive.
Can't be done.
It didn't work.
It
didn't work.
Who else? Anybody else on the screen?
Off dome, can't think of nobody. You know, I'm not great with names. I recognize faces. Like, I'm gonna start calling out the characters' names. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
and I'm
you know,
shallow. I'm more likely to call out women I have a crush on, and they might not even be good actors.
You know, not to get into
I'm shallow.
we don't have to get into the filmography, but you know, Alfred Woodard, Viola Davis, two I love when they're on the screen, Kathy Bates, Meryl Streep. But recently, you know, when we talk comedy and how much I love comedy, for me, Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett were also influences, and especially just, you know, how what appeared, I don't know the people, don't know the person, but how they just was silly on the screen. It just seemed that humor, comedy, connection with people just tended to flow from them. Vicki Lawrence is another one. Mama's Family, I grew up watching that. So these, you know, what I see in these names are, you know, I love people who take pride in their craft, who take the time to be great at what they do, whether it comes natural or they had to put in hours and to get there. But when they perform, you see a master of, in this case, her craft.
Yeah, comedy legends you called out there, man. And again, a couple of them are from an era where they were in syndication when I got here. So,
right,
like I said, it's a lot of it is you know, my indoctrination, my transition, my Americanization had a lot to do with the television and some of those names, people, and shows.
Any writers? Anybody who you've read, women you want to acknowledge?
I'm sure that I'm drawing a whole blank right now, but let's call. Oh my God, I'm having a whole brain. And for me, it'll probably be more in the poetry department, but I'm just thinking
Maya
the names
Angelou is mine.
There we go.
Maya Angelou is mine.
That's kind of those directions I'm going in. One of my friends put me onto Octavia Butler years back.
Okay.
Over the years, there's been, you know, and I tend to lean towards people that are also poets, the Nikki Giovanni's and the like. I'm more inclined to go in those directions but I collect more, and this probably says a lot about me in a negative way, but I care more about the art than the artist. I'm more inclined to remember the message you put out or what I took from it or the quotes from it. And I probably should remember the artist's name, but I sometimes don't. I often don't. I just take what I need and move it. I'm a selfish art lover.
Selfish. That's selfish is always selfish. Not bad, you know. So everything in balance. You know, you don't get no hate out of me. I think Maya Angelou, for me, again, master of her craft, just words. You know, whether it was poems, books, public speaking events, or just on an interview sharing her thoughts, ideas, or philosophies. I feel she took the English language and made it what she wanted it to be. She made it, she already knew what she was going to say. The message had been predetermined by her, by God, however it came about. But she picked the words that she wanted to use in this moment to share the idea. And whether it's, you know, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, or I did a thing where I recited her poem Alone for a talent show. yeah, Maya Angelou always spoke to me, but you know, the other person who I won't say speaks to me, but inspiration, admiration for what she's created is J.K. Rowling. The Harry Potter world, she in writing these books, she created a world. Whether it's the ride at is it Disney or Universal, wherever the Harry Potter world, yeah, I guess it's Universal in Orlando. The movies, the books, the spin-offs, there's a video game coming out. And to know the fandom that follows the world of Harry Potter, I'm just amazed that came out of a single individual's brain.
Mhm.
Whether she knew it was going to be that, whether that she always visualized that. I know some of her story, she got a lot of rejections before she got that first one that We Digested published. But to create this amazing world in text, I think is an awesome power that she demonstrates.
Okay. You stimulate a little bit of thought in me. Well, a lot of bit of thought in me. Uh, Hiromu Arakawa. I hope I'm saying it right. There is a anime series I became a fan of some years back, and Himuro is the creator of said series. The series is called Full Metal Alchemist.
I'm aware. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, well, me being who I am, stuck in the eternal loop of my second, third, fourth, maybe fifth childhood, because I love my teenage years so much, I keep reliving them. Just kidding, just a little bit. I do enjoy anime, manga here and there, and there, like I said, Full Metal Alchemist, the writing, the characters, the references, esoteric, occult, and otherwise, I love all of it. And so talking about somebody that created a world that I enjoy traveling through, and looking at the characters associated with that, I would say Himuru's creations in terms of Full Metal Alchemist are and in recent years, a lot of the stuff that I've taken in aren't as serious as some of the stuff I probably would have taken in when I was younger. Maybe for healthy reasons or unhealthy reasons, I'm all into the escapism. But I do appreciate the good anime now and again, because I find some of the best messages and writing can be found there, hidden in the animation.
Yeah. Well, listen, before we go to break, I wanted to comment on that, right? There's a book I'll give a book report on in a future episode, the Falling Upward. And the idea is, we're children, we were born, we were children, we mature, we become adults, we start adulting. But our life's journey, the cycle that we exist on, is a return to our childhood as adults. Does it mean that we go play patty cake and freeze tag in the park? Not necessarily, but definitely not no. But it's recognizing that there's times when you just need to be free. Release the fear of responsibility, release the fear of obligation, and allow yourself to enjoy what you enjoy. What I have found is my disposition. I don't handle things the way I used to, like Snowfall. The second episode of Snowfall, I was like, it's too much. It's too much in the space of which I may have, most of the time is in the evening when I can digest some of this stuff. And that's not what I want to take to sleep. I don't want to take that to sleep no more. Nope. our past, and that's okay. You know, we are who we are, and we exist where we do on our journey. So all that to say, you know, if anime movie, brother, do it. Cause I'm gonna watch. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist like advertised on one of my feeds somewhere. I'm not the biggest anime. I think I've said that before. I like what I like, but I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try.
You know, it's it's one of those things where, you know, they talk about there's Easter eggs in there. There's always, you know, there's references to other things that I just think are fantastic and interesting, right down to the choice of using the name Oilheim of Light for one of the characters. You know, just different. You know, the obsession with the Sorcerer's Stone and alchemy and those kind of things. I think is fantastic.
Okay.
Double check.
All right. Well, on that, we'll
Let me
take
know
a
if it's
break and
back.
be right
I
back.
just saw that.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
And it will be so sweet, America. It will be so sweet. And all that heartache will go away.
To our president.
You gotta see the
That's
monster to
crazy
be able
what
to
he
destroy the
did.
monster.
He took the military out before he took the civilians. Who does that?
Under his watch.
Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. Before we call it an episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. We everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whether it's Unsolicited Genius, Carlton and Craig Lindo, search it, Mo Lofty. What's his Instagram? Have Mighty Mo ZK. You want to get your sneaker hookup. Joe Nitty, you want to get to him, gotta talk to me, but he out here. Shout out to Joe Nitty, super producer. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you to our sponsors, Legacy Wear, your legacy awaits. You can find them at www.legacywearus.com. Megacore CBD, broad spectrum hemp derived CBD, the way nature intended. You can find them at www.megacorecbd.com. Aura Rain Water, hydrate and elevate. Find them at www.aurarainwater.com. That's Aura, A-U-R-A, that's it, A-U-R-A, rainwater.com. And Carlton Ennis Coaching, be your light. You can find out more about what I do at www.carltoninniss.com. Brother Craig, anybody you want to shout out before we call it an episode?
Hey, man, if you're listening, thank you. Rock with me on IG at Craig D. Lindo. Appreciate your attention, energy, and time. Anybody that cares to listen, man, I care that you listen, and I care to keep speaking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thoughts of Genius. Women's History Month ends officially March 31st. And so, feminine energy, what is it? Why is it? So first, it's the yin of the yin and yang. Feminine yin, masculine yang. Balance. We need them both. We all need some softness, some flow, patience, surrender, feeling, love, empathy, and being the essence of feminine energy. Fellas, don't run from it. Embrace it. You need it. You are a man. You can be a man. Balance that masculinity. Balance that punch. Allow for the receiving. Allow for the flow. Allow patience. Be patient. Be empathy. Be love. Feminine energy. Women, don't suppress it. It's you. You are the feminine. You were born that way. Masculinity is important. Women need yang as much as men need yin. We both need it both. Balance. Embrace it. Learn from it. When our feminine energy is out of balance, it expresses itself in uncertainty and those sometimes inexplicable fears. But remember when we were little and we were scared? Yeah, Papa, if present, protected us, but who was the one that comforted us? Who was the one that made us feel better? My mama, Craig's mama, your mama. So when it comes to the feminine energy, embrace it. And when mama can't do it, you can comfort yourself. This has been another episode of Unsolicited Genius Live. As Brother Craig said, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for appreciating us. Join us next week, same Genius time, same Genius channel. And for whenever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
You are listening to Craig D. Molat. You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.